All right, just overall, who do you have winning and why?
Man, it's hard to say like with because I'm so biased. I'm a huge Max Holloway fan. I've been following him like his whole career almost. Um, I was a firm believer that he beat Volk twice, even though he lost all three of them technically on the scorecards. But I thought he won the first fight, and I thought he won the second fight. But the third one, he definitely lost it. I think it was one of the three he definitely lost. I don't know if it was the second or third, but
I think it might have been the third.
yeah, I think it was. Um, but technically, man, Ilia's crisp. He's got great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu, and really pure striking, like explosive hands, good boxing. Um, he's kind of got that striking where it's like he knows he's that good that he doesn't have to. He's so fast and powerful. He doesn't have to focus too much on being defensive, which means like he can really step on his punches, like really put everything in them. And you saw that against Volk. Like he had Volk against the cage, and he was just extending his punches all the way through with maximum power, which is not something you'll see from Max. Like Max is a more um, Muhammad Ali esque fighter where he'll fight light on the feet and try to touch you up, and we'll make sure he's moving his head, he's in and out, stuff like that. But I think Ilia's really confident because he hasn't been tested too many times. I've seen him get hurt in the past, which is what I was saying. Like he'll really commit to his punches, so I think he can be hurt. But it's like when you're fighting him, um, you really can't hang out with him because he'll probably put you to sleep. You know what I mean? So,
And dude, Ilia is probably the best exchanger in the UFC, probably. You know,
yeah,
he has the
yeah,
crispiest inside combinations. If you're exchanging with him, you're kind of fucked. You don't want to be
yeah,
exchanging with him.
100%. And
But
that's
how?
yeah.
But
No, you're good. You're good.
I was about to say, if Max Holloway were to win, how would you see that happening exactly, round by round? Kind of give a summarization of that.
Man, I think it's got to go 5 rounds. I don't think Max can commit to his punches like he did against Gaethje. He's not really known for being a knockout artist with like that one punch. He's more of a drown you with combination after combination to make you quit type of fighter. So I think he's got to test Ilya and drag him to that fourth and fifth round and really just he's got to stick to him and be true to himself and just circle around, bop, move, piece him up, and then really start to frustrate him and go into the fourth and fifth where he'll shine. I think in the fourth and fifth round he'll have a clear advantage because his conditioning is probably one of the best in the game. His fighter IQ is really good. He's been 5 rounds several times, which is something that Ilya's never done before in the UFC. I don't know if he has in the past, but in the UFC he's never been 5 rounds. Um,
I think against what's that, the bald dude? He was 5 rounds against him or no?
no,
No,
I think that ended
oh, it's three.
early. Well, no, it was a 5 round fight, but he. Oh wait, you're right. He did go 5 rounds.
Yeah, yeah,
I guess I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't remember that one that much. Oh, I
yeah. He
think.
pieced him up there.
Yeah. I think that. Yeah, yeah. You're right. So I guess he has been 5 rounds, but I mean, Emmett's not really um a grinder like Max. Emmett's more of like a one shot kind of fighter.
Yeah,
But against a guy like Max, I think 5 rounds is going to be pretty tough pace wise because I think for that fourth and fifth, Max is going to really step on the gas, and I think so. So if I'm Ilya, I'm probably trying to hurt him early and really win those early rounds one through three, hurt Max, and really force Max to be fighting a catch up fight. Right, I don't think he wants to let Max get ahead too early in the fight. I think he wants Max trying to catch up because I think that makes it a totally different fight where Max has to actually take risk and really expose himself in the striking. So, man, it's tough because I know Ilya's very well rounded and he could easily probably make this an MMA fight versus a striking fight. Because if it's a straight striking fight, I think it's going to be a lot more competitive. We've seen Max, he has he has really good takedown defense, but when he gets taken down, we've seen it against Volk. Like he can give up those rounds pretty easily to his opponents. I think Matt or Volk took him down in all three fights, and I think those rounds were like all rounds for Volk. So how do you see this fight going?
Yeah. So you said the how Max would win. So this is how I think Ilya his I think he can win it in different fashions, but the route to like the more spectacular knockout would be him against Volk the first round, the first round and a half, because Volk got knocked out in the second, in the middle of the second round essentially. Ilya was just fainting, trying to set traps. It was really he wasn't uh he wasn't using any energy whatsoever. He was just fainting and applying pressure, defending when he needed to. And Volk was the one that was active. Kind of like I feel like that's how Max is gonna be. I don't think Max is gonna be able to walk Ilya down, because then he's gonna run into power shots or low leg kicks or takedown shots. So Ilya for the first 3 rounds, I would say he to take it easy, just feint a lot, set your traps, counter in between shots, because Max is gonna give him a lot of volume for him to be able to counter. If you hurt him, good. If you don't, just remain composed. And then if Max wasn't giving you a lot, then really push the pace of the next 2 rounds and try to get him out of there. That's how I would do it if I was Ilya. And I think he can do it because he's pretty composed. He
Yeah,
has good defense.
for sure. Um, I think also we've seen Max. He's like fine with being pushed against the cage, which I think actually suits Ilya a lot more. I think Ilya shines when he's got someone pushed back against the cage. Because, like I said, Ilya's very good at committing to his punches because his power. They'll have to defend, and they won't be in a position to return. So I think that's going to be huge for Ilya if he can push Max against the cage to where Max might not be able to circle out as easily. But Max has good escape routes. Like he's very good at circling around. He's got good footwork, but against the cage, it's going to be a little bit harder for him. So I think Ilya has to have that what do you call it, like not ring awareness but cage awareness to where he knows where he's got the advantage. So he'll have to find those opportunities against the cage, let his combinations go, and then maybe take a step back and let Max move. But I think if he doesn't take advantage of those opportunities, Max will circle around, and probably just try to pop shot him until like the fourth and fifth, like I said, where he'll really start to step on the gas. But like I said, I think Max actually has to be fighting ahead of Ilya's pace from the start. I don't think Max will have a successful fight if he lets Ilya control the first 3 rounds, because then he'll have to play catch up, and then it might get ugly.
Yeah. The
Do you think this
way
fight?
how what?
Do you think this fight goes the distance?
Nah, dude. I think Ilya's gonna catch Max in like the third round or so, third or fourth.
Yeah, man.
I think
So
Ilya's a hell of a finisher,
yeah, I could see it. It's like it's so tough watching someone you like really like to. For me, I when
dude.
I so,
Go for it. Go for it.
oh sorry, for me like whenever I'm watching a fighter I really like, I'm a fan of. It's always like I go into that fight, I'm just thinking about how good they are, and then it's like always those fights that I'm least expecting to finish. So like that's what I think I could see Ilya knocking him out. But I never like whenever I watch like a fight where I'm not biased towards a fighter, I'll think about how each fighter can finish them, and I'm not that surprised when there's a finish. But it's always like those fights where I'm a huge fan of one guy, and then the finish
Yeah,
happens,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like so taken back by it. I'm like, God damn! Like oh
I feel
no.
you. And I love Max too, man. Max is cool as fuck, but god damn, dude, Ilya is so crispy. And yeah, I don't think Max is faster than him. He does have range, but sometimes Max doesn't really know how to use the range. Sometimes he kind of smothers himself, and when he smothers himself, Ilya's gonna counter him. Um, Ilya is good when you're backing up, especially with his stature. Dude, I think just stylistically, who knows? You know, Max could pull it off. You never know with Max, but I just
Yeah.
don't. I don't see it.
Yeah, I think yeah, this is Ilya's fight to win. I think as long like I said, as long as he takes advantage early, I think he'll probably win. Um, but I think Max is gonna surprise a lot of people low key. Just like the Gaethje fight, right? I really did not think Max was gonna win that fight. Um, Especially not how he won it either. Pretty dominantly, and then obviously that finish at the end. But I think low key Max is gonna come out with some special weapon that no one's gonna be prepared for. I don't know if you remember the Gaethje fight. He had that spinning back kick to the face. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
That's
he's
where
going.
Ilya has to be careful.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a secret weapon. I don't know if it's gonna be that exact kick, but it's going to be something that Ilya is not going to be ready for, and I think he will give Ilya trouble with something like that. Um, but yeah, I so overall I think Max is going to surprise a lot of people, and for me, I'm not going to be surprised to see Max win this fight. Although I do favor Ilya winning. If they
Yeah,
fought,
no, yeah,
if they fought 10 times, I'd probably favor Ilya winning. 7 or 6 of them. But I think at this point in their careers, Ilya's never been against a guy like Max, especially over 5 rounds. And Max has tons of experience, and he's really high fighter IQ, so I think he might surprise him a little bit.
yeah. That's a determining factor for Max, right? That he has that good ass experience and that he's strong as hell going into 5 rounds. And Ilya is kind of murky water when it comes to those territories. But yeah, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Max would hurt him with something up the middle, because Ilya is short. But when Ilya fought Herbert and almost got knocked out, he has that dog in him and he knows how to recover and finish the fight, from
True.
just
Yeah.
being hurt. So Ilya's dangerous till he's fucking out.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. I could see Ilya getting cut up in a little bit and getting like bruised and bloodied, but having that dog in him and probably still trying to finish that fight no matter how bad he gets hurt.
Yeah, I think Max is gonna be touching him and bruising his face, but Ilya's just he's gonna kind of bait him, a little bit.
Yeah, I could
Il-
definitely
Ilya's
see. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Ilya's shot selection is fucking crispy too. He knows how to vary it up,
Yeah,
open up the open up the targets.
yeah. I was gonna say I think I could also see Max getting a little bit creative, maybe throwing some knees or kicks in there. But I think with Ilya, he'll set his feet down and throw some shots over the top, like an overhand right or left, and I could see him catching Max when he's like turned around or off balance and probably hurting him pretty bad. If I was gonna guess how Ilya finishes him, I think it's um one of those knockouts where they're like almost not looking at them. I don't know if I'm describing that right, but there was a fight recently. The Pierre versus Khalil Roundtree. I don't remember if you do you remember when Pierre like threw a kick and was like off balance and like kind of turned around and Khalil caught him.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't know if it's
yeah.
going to be exactly like that, but something like that where Max is like a little bit off balance or slightly out of focus where he can't see him, and Topuria is going to throw something over the top and catch him while he's not ready, and I think he could hurt him pretty bad if he does that.
Yeah, I could also see him knocking Max out in a crispier fashion, kind of like how Buckley knocked out Steven Wonderboy in the last
Oh
fight,
yeah,
but with
yeah,
like
against the
like
cage,
an actual setup. Yeah, 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 with a setup.
100%.
Like that as Max circles out, because Max is like really he uses his circling a lot against like when he's fighting backwards. It's
Yeah,
one of his best tools too, because he's tall and rangy.
yep,
But I could see Ilya just getting under a shot as he's circling out and hitting him with just cracking him, with a
yeah,
rounded punch.
yeah. He does kind of exit a little bit high because he is a taller fighter, so I could definitely see Ilya if he can time that shot while Max is kind of up in the air right when he's kind of exiting. That could definitely be a shot that puts him down. But what do you think about Max's chin? Like, do you think it's gonna be like a one exchange knockout, or do you think it's gonna be like he has to hurt him and then like follow up and then eventually finish him?
And Max has had a history of a pretty decent chin. I have seen him like really hurt sometimes, but then I've seen him hurt against people that don't have the finishing abilities that Ilya does. So that's different. That's something that is gonna have to that is gonna be tested in this fight against Ilya for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just think back to like that Poirier fight where dude was like split open on the forehead. Poirier was just
Yeah.
lighting him up, but he never even got knocked down in that fight, which is the craziest thing.
Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the podcast, please like, share, and subscribe.
Also, check us out on Instagram at P number 4P Combat Sports Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.